Welcome to a special edition of Sportsource Game of the Week. I'm your host, Nathan Baez. This week we are previewing UJ's G-Day game, and we have a full lineup of Sportsource analysts here to break it all down. First, we'll preview offense versus defense with Will Hearn and Michael Feinberg. Later in the show, Charlie Dew will take a look at the depth chart, and Kalana Gardner will break down expectations from the season ahead. But before we get into all that, you may notice we look a little more casual today. For this special show, Professor Lawson has declared today Logo Day. Normally in the sports media program, we are not allowed to wear any sports logos, even in class. But for this special edition, we are not just host, analyst, and reporter. For once, we will also get to have a little fun and be fans. So let's get started. Here are a few quick things. Kick things off with sports source analyst Will Hearn. As Georgia says goodbye to several key players now headed to the NFL, a new group is stepping in. Transfers and younger talent will have a big chance to make an impression this weekend, and fans should expect a different look from Georgia on both sides of the ball. Well, let's start on the offense. With several important players gone into the NFL, what are the biggest gaps Georgia has now to fill?
That's right, Nathan. Receivers Zachariah Branch and Colby Young are headed to the next level, along with offensive linemen Monroe Freeling and Micah Morris. Joining them in the NFL draft is longtime starting tight end Oscar Delp. G-Day will provide great insight for any fans looking to learn more about the development of the 2026 roster.
It looks like the offensive line will have a new set of faces. Will, what do you think the line will look like tomorrow?
The offensive line is quite up for interpretation, so this weekend we'll provide a preview of the new rotation. Center Drew Bobo is still out for the entirety of spring, so Malachi Tolliver, who started after Bobo's injury, will be competing for the role. Juan Gaston and Dontrell Glover returned for their sophomore years after being thrown into the mix early last season. Gaston played in 13 games and Glover in 14 last season, both as true freshmen. On a more experienced end is fifth-year senior Ernest Green III. Green III has played in 34 games with the Bulldogs and is a likely starter at the offensive tackle position. Head coach Kirby Smart spoke briefly on the offensive line depth.
Some young players coming along, progressing. A couple guys that didn't play much last year. You know, you see the progress, them getting better. Are they going to get into the rotation? You know, is it going to be a 4 guys interior, 3 guys exterior, play 7 to 8 guys so that you got guys in case guys get hurt? I mean, I don't know if we're there yet.
Other names I expect to be thrown in the rotation are Michael Weenie, Daniel Calhoun, and Cortez Smith.
It'll be interesting to see who starts tomorrow on the offensive front. With 2 other key receivers heading to the NFL, what will the wide receiver room shape up like?
With Branch and Young gone, I expect this room to look quite different. Thankfully for Georgia fans, Georgia reloaded with an addition from the transfer portal. Previously on the rival Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, receiver Isaiah Kenyon is a key addition to this group of offensive Bulldogs. In his sophomore year with the Yellow Jackets, Kenyon recorded 33 receptions for 480 yards and 4 touchdowns. Less experienced players such as Sokovie White-Helton, Talon Taylor, C.J. Wiley, and Landon Roldan will be forced to step up. Georgia fans may remember a deep ball to Talon Taylor in the Bulldogs matchup against Alabama. Taylor dropped the pass but showcased a definite flash of speed and ability to gain separation.
It sounds like this receiving room has potential. So, who will be throwing the passes?
Nothing much is expected to change at the quarterback position. Gunnar Stockton is the leader of this team, followed by Ryan Puglisi.
At G-Day, fans likely get a glimpse of all the way down the quarterback roster. What about the running backs?
The running back room will look relatively similar, as Nate Frazier, Chauncey Bowens, and Dwight Phillips Jr. all return. The one addition is former SEC back Dante Dowdle. Dowdle is the likely replacement for Josh McCray's role as the power back.
Bulldogs fans should be happy to hear the running back core won't look too different. Finally, Will, tell us about the tight end room.
With only the loss of Oscar Delp to the next level, the tight end position shouldn't look all too different either. Lawson Lucky's back for his senior year. Elias Williams and Ethan Barber both made solid cases during their freshman campaigns. Barber's season was cut short due to an ankle injury, yet both are promising pieces to this offense. Jaden Riddell, who played in all 14 games last season, also returns. Some new freshmen to look out for are Caden Prothero, who ranked 3rd among all tight ends in the 2026 class, and Lincoln Keys, who totaled 749 yards and 12 touchdowns during his senior season. Back to you, Nathan.
Thanks, Will. Excellent work. A lot can change from one spring to the next, but one thing is clear. Georgia still has plenty of talent on offense. They should give fans a first look at those new pieces may fit together from the line of skill position. Now, of course, offense is only half of the story. While Georgia reloads on that side of the ball, the defense will also be working to replace key departures and build its next wave of playmakers. After the break, we turn to things over now and take a look at the Bulldogs defense. Stay with us. Welcome back to Sportsource. Now let's turn our attention to the Georgia defense. With new additions in the secondary, the challenge of replacing C.J. Allen at linebacker, and a defense line that will ask several key players to step into bigger roles, there's a lot to watch this spring. Sportsource analyst Michael Feinberg joins us now. Michael, what has stood out to you so far?
Thanks, Nathan. On the defensive side of the ball, there are lots of new additions and players to look out for. G-Day will be a great opportunity for the Georgia defense to continue proving why they are among the best in the country. In the secondary, there's a lot of new energy, especially with a guy like Khalil Barnes coming in from Clemson. He's a proven playmaker with over 130 tackles and 7 interceptions during his time playing for the Tigers. The Bulldogs can expect to see that experience translate right away. Head coach Kirby Smart talks highly about his intelligence and versatility.
He's done a good job. He's very intelligent, been well coached. Came from a really good program, good coaching background. Played in multiple defenses, played multiple positions. Sharp, savvy, good football player.
He's brought high energy, great player. He plays star, so me and him on the same side, it's been really good just communicating with him and everything. He's been really good.
You also have guys like Gentry Williams, who transferred from Oklahoma, and the Dogs are returning Ellis Robinson IV, who was one of the top freshmen in the country last year.
Yeah, it's different for sure, since freshman year when Dalen was here, older guys was here, and now being an older guy, just helping the younger guys really and just learning like the schemes and just knowing what to do really.
Struggles getting pressure on the quarterback last season. What does the defense line look like this year?
Up front, Georgia does lose Christian Miller to the NFL draft, but this is still a group with a lot of depth and talent. A guy to watch is Xavier McLeod. He's been consistent, played in every game last season for the Dogs, and brings some veteran leadership to the front. Then there's Elijah Griffin, who had a really strong freshman year and looks like someone ready to take the next step. What I'm looking for on G-Day isn't just sacks, it's disruption. Are they getting to the backfield, forcing the quarterback to move, and controlling the line of scrimmage?
With C.J. Allen to the NFL draft, how has the linebacker room changed?
Another missing piece in the defense is at linebacker, with C.J. Allen heading to the NFL draft. He was the leader of the defense. He made the calls, got everyone lined up, and brought stability to the unit. Now you're looking at guys like freshman P.J. Dean, who's shown a lot of explosiveness in high school. Amaris Williams, who transferred from Auburn, unfortunately just tore his ACL this past Tuesday in practice and will miss G-Day and the 2026 season. The talent is there, but the big question is communication. Who's going to step up and take control of the defense? It really comes down to 3 things: chemistry in the secondary, leadership at the linebacker position, and consistency up front. If those areas come together, the defense has a very high ceiling. Back to you, Nathan.
Nice job, Michael. A lot of new faces, but the expectations don't change. If this group can build that chemistry in the secondary, find a true leader at linebacker, and create consistent pressure up front, Georgia's defense could once again be one of the best in the country. We'll get our first real look at all of that on G-Day. When Sportsource returns, roster turnover has opened the door for new faces across the field. From key positional battles to a wide open depth chart, we break down who is stepping up and who is to watch heading into G-Day. Stay with us. Welcome back to Sportsource. With portal shakeups, top talent moving on the next level, and a new wave of players fighting for reps, what do the position battles and the depth charts look like this season for Georgia football? I'm now joined by our Sportsource analyst, Charlie Dew. Charlie, what stands out to you about the Bulldogs' depth on offense?
The reigning back-to-back SEC champions will look a little different this Saturday. Georgia lost 15 players to the portal and 4 to the draft from last season, and it's truly felt at the offensive line. At the tackle position, the Bulldogs saw Monroe Freeling go to the draft, and Bo Healy and Jamal Merriweather head to the portal. On the line this season, we expect to see Drew Bobo, Ernest Green, Dontrell Glover, and Juan Gaston, but that's only 4, so who will be the 5th and final lineman? Well, the options are Daniel Calhoun or Akin Ogboko. Calhoun will begin his third season with the program, which may give him the edge to earn that final slot. But watch out for Ogboko, who was a top lineman prospect as a highly touted tackle who enrolled at the beginning of the year at Georgia to start his college career as a Bulldog. Calhoun has appeared in 8 games in his career, but Ogboko was ranked as a top 10 offensive tackle in the nation by most outlets for this year's high school class. G-Day will be an opportunity to see what might be valued more, experience or new talent.
On defense, what jumps out to you, Charlie?
With Dalen Everett taking his talents to the draft and a few transfers jumping ship, the secondary is left with a lot of questions. As of right now, one thing seems certain. KJ Bolden will be this group's leader. But who will round out the secondary? Using some deductive reasoning at corner, we can expect returning players who found success last year, like Ellis Robinson IV, Rayshawn Dinkins, and DeMello Jones, to make it into the rotation. But there are a few challenges for the corner position, such as Oklahoma transfer Gentry Williams, USC transfer Braylon Connolly, and incoming freshman Caden Harris. Looking at the strong safety position alongside Bolden, it's a toss-up. There's Eastern Carolina transfer Jamarly Riddle, Clemson transfer Khalil Barnes, or redshirt freshman Daniel Okonkwo. Riddle had 38 solo tackles and 3 interceptions last year, but the big question is whether it will translate to Power 4 football. Also, Barnes will make his return to his hometown in Athens after a 24 solo tackle season for the Tigers. And Okonkwo will try to see if his multiple star rating will transfer to the collegiate level. With 3 potential starters, Bolden's partner in the secondary will be up for grabs tomorrow.
Charlie, looking at the depth chart, what is the biggest question for this Georgia team overall?
The biggest question is who is going to step up at wide receiver. The Bulldogs lost 6 of their 7 leaders in receiving yards from last season, only returning veteran London Humphreys. With the wide open position room, reps are up for grabs. One option for Georgia comes from snagging Isaiah Canyon from the Bulldogs' rival in Atlanta in the portal. Last season, Canyon hauled in 33 receptions, racking up 480 yards and 4 touchdowns for the Yellow Jackets. This spring, Canyon has been fighting injury, but come fall, expect number 6 to flaunt his size as he's 6'4" and 215, destined to leave his mark in a physical SEC. Another option is former 5-star prospect Taylon Taylor, who's looking to make a splash after having a limited freshman campaign due to injury. He showed promise early last year prior to surgery with a 2-reception and 28-yard receiving game against Austin Peay. Also available is Sokovie White-Helton, who's playing for a starting position, looking for reps. Over 2 seasons, White-Helton has had 12 receptions and over 100 yards receiving. There are also even more young players like Wiley, Blackshear, Roldan, and more, all in the hunt. Here's head coach Kirby Smart on this year's receiver corps.
Yeah, it's young. We basically got one kid in from the portal, and he's bringing a little more experience. Where years past, there might have been more guys coming in from the portal, or if you still count London that way, I think he's now been here 2 years within our program. So some good competition out there. A lot of those guys haven't proven they can do it. They're going to get an opportunity to do that in the spring.
Overall, the Bulldogs have had an uphill battle to replace the production from last year's squad. But with a key transfer, a returning veteran, potential field prospects, receiving back upside, and of course a great tight end room, G-Day will show us what type of firepower the Bulldogs will be rolling out come September. Back to you, Nathan.
Thanks, Charlie. Great job. It will be exciting to see all the position battles play out tomorrow at G-Day. When Sportsource returns, G-Day is more than just a spring game. It's an early look at development, competition, and whether Georgia is building towards its championship standards. We will break down what really matters and what fans should take away from this moving forward. Stay with us. Welcome back to Sportsource. We looked at individual matchups and position battles. But G-Day also gives us a chance to step back and look at the bigger picture for where this Georgia team stands headed into the season. Sportsource analyst Kalana shows us now. Kalana, when you look at G-Day, what really matters in the big picture for Georgia?
I think the biggest thing is that G-Day is less about the final score and more about development. For Georgia, it's about seeing which players are ready to step into bigger roles and how the team is progressing heading into the season.
So what does G-Day actually tell us about this team moving forward?
It gives you an early look at where Georgia is right now. You can see the depth, the competition at different positions, and how players are responding to the standard the program expects.
We're practicing. I mean, I don't know what you want me to say. We're lifting, we're running, we're practicing. We're practicing, ones, twos, threes. We're very, very fortunate to have the ability to practice like we do. I'm very blessed with my administration and the support staff of Josh Brooks to have the staff members we have, not to mention the scholarship numbers we have. So I don't know that we have the best players or the most talented players or the highest paid players, but we will have the players that get the most reps and get the most improvement and the most coaching and most development, and that's what we sell. So when you look out there and somebody's like, well, they don't, these other schools don't practice like y'all do. Well, we got 19 offensive linemen, and not all of them can play, but we got guys out there getting reps. We have guys that are improving. That's the only way to get better is go out there and take your reps. And when you've got that, you've got the ability to do, multiple things in practice and get a bigger body of work.
Coach Smart's message there is that this period is really about the work. Georgia is using spring to develop players, build depth, and make sure the team is meeting the standard every single day. That is why G-Day matters. It is not just a game for fans to watch, it is a checkpoint to see how this roster is growing.
And what's the biggest takeaway Georgia fans should have after this game?
The biggest takeaway is whether this team is building toward that standard. At Georgia, the expectation is to always compete at a high level. And G-Day is the first real step in seeing if this group is moving in that direction.
Thanks, Kalana. And that is really what G-Day is all about. It's not about the final score. It's about the growth, competition, and getting a first look at whether this team is moving towards the standard Georgia expects. We will find out a lot more tomorrow. When Sportsource returns, we will take a look on campus to hear from Dog Nation. From returning stars to players looking to make their name for themselves, find out who fans are most excited to see at G-Day. Stay with us. Welcome back to Sportsource. The players are getting ready for G-Day, but so are the fans. Excitement is already building across campus as Dog Nation looks ahead to Saturday. We wanted to hear who they are most excited to see, and so we sent out our sports reporter, Bailey Campbell, to find out. He joins us today with the report. Bailey?
G-Day is tomorrow, and Bulldog fans are already fired up. I hit up campus to ask one simple question. With G-Day coming up this Saturday, who are you most excited to see back out on the field and why? Spoiler alert, you're going to hear one name a lot.
I am most excited to see Gunnar Stockton, just because I don't really know why. I just am.
I think it's got to be Gunnar, man. Coming back senior year, you got to get excited about that. He's taking hits all year. I think he's going to look great. Heisman front runner. I'm hyped, man.
It's kind of basic, but I'd have to say it's going to be Gunnar Stockton. Just seeing how much more he can add to his game. He had a phenomenal season last year, and I think he just continues to build on that. I think a lot of people underestimate his mobility. So, seeing that, especially, I don't know about for the spring game, but definitely for the upcoming season, just, I don't know, I'd like to see maybe a little more risk come from him. I know he's pretty hard on the football field, but I think he can really take that step up and really be a leader in this team and be a leader in the stats in the nation.
I would probably say I'm most excited to see Nate Frazier take the field again. I know that there was a lot of speculation about him potentially transferring over the offseason, and then he said he was going to stay. And so I've always really liked Nate Frazier ever since he came in, just the speed that he plays with and his elusiveness and just how he kind of looks angry when he's running the ball all the time. So it's really cool to see. So I'm excited to see that.
Gunnar, of course, he's a dog. I love him. Plays with a lot of heart. And Elias Williams, that freshman tight end, he looks pretty nasty.
I guess right now I'm looking forward to seeing Lawson Lucky again out on the field, coming back for senior year. Had a huge year last year, hoping to build his draft stock coming up this coming season in the fall. So I think being able to see him early in the spring, see what he can get done over the summer, get back and get his draft stock ready for the following year. I'm looking forward to seeing him play.
I'm always excited to see Kirby Smart because he always brings the energy. You never know what you're going to get from him, and he's a great coach. He's the best in the nation. Go Dogs.
No shortage of excitement from Dog Nation heading into Saturday. Gunnar Stockton clearly the name on everyone's mind, but plenty of other players with something to prove this spring. We'll see what they've got when G-Day kicks off this Saturday. Back to you, Nathan.
Thanks, Bailey. After the break, we will wrap up Sportsource. Don't go away. Welcome back to Sportsource. Today's not just another show for us. It's also the final Sportsource show of this semester. With 2 sections of Sportsource here at UGA, Section 1 has its final sign-off last week, and now it's our turn to do the same. Joining me on set is the full class as we close things out together. I want to say thank you to the athletic directors, coaches, and student athletes who welcomed us in and allowed us to share their stories throughout the semester. I want to thank Professor Lawson for his support, guidance, and feedback, along with the entire sports media faculty here at UGA, including Professor Michaelas, Professor Suggs, Professor Finley, Professor Amy, Professor Young, Professor Johnson, and Professor Jones. Your time and mentorship has helped us all grow both as storytellers and professionals. For some of us, graduation is just around the corner. For others, the work continues here at UGA. Either way, the lessons, memories, and experiences from this semester from Sportsource will stay with us long after the show ends. So for one final time together, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, reporting from Carmichael Sports Media Institute, I'm Nathan Baez. Thanks for watching.